Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Torchlight. One thing I want to point out here is we always end up wearing dragon armor, don't we, in fantasy games? Like, this is a problem with fantasy. This is the problem of basically what was introduced in J.R. Tolkien's fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons fantasy, is that there's always this scale in which dragons are probably the most powerful creatures you're gonna ever find, and thus a dragon armor based on dragon bones is going to be the strongest thing. It's been done to death in video games, it's been done to death in fantasy. Things would really need to be spiced up. We need a whole new pantheon of new fictional characters. And unfortunately, you really don't even get that. Like, Harry Potter, as a book series, could have easily been a place to introduce a lot of new characters. But they kind of didn't. They introduced Dementors, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is sort of trying to do that, but not enough, I think, to catch on in popularity, although maybe a few decades down the line. I also wanted to point out that his armor is glowing purple here, and it almost looks like this would be a purple gem of some color that I had put in the socket. Unfortunately, there is no purple gems in this game, so this just always looks that way. Let's hit continue and see where we go. Remember, the game crashed last time, so I could be anywhere doing anything.
Hi there.
Let's see. I guess I had just finished that quest, and that was, I believe, the quest that in particular was rather difficult, because we were doing a lot of grinding on that. Alright, so let's look at these items and see if we've got anything that would in any way be useful. We can now sell Town Portal, can't we? Nope, I lost that spell. Ooh, we may have lost some progress here. We have Dervish 4 and Heal All on this. An interesting thing happened when we launched on this, because it said that the save files from the Steam area, the Steam Online cloud saving, which is kind of a background service that nobody pays any attention to, were different than the local files. Now, logically, the danger in taking the local files, which is what I did, would have been that the local files were completely corrupted. Unfortunately, it seems like what had happened is Steam has determined that the local files were newer when they really weren't. But still, that's probably a fine way to go about things, because it probably means that the Steam save files were even worse. So that we want to keep these dream waiters. I'm just kind of hoping I'm not as far back as it feels like we might be. And this is definitely not where I want to be with any recording, is to start immediately having to do shopping. But that's exactly what we're doing. What does this bow do? Nothing close to our damage. Here's a 700 with the fastest attack speed staff. So to use this, I'd have to be level 46, which I'm nowhere close to level 46, and I'd have to have a magic of 111, which pretty much means I can never use a staff. There's not any one they're gonna offer that would balance out to make sense. Then we're just looking for purple titled armors that would be potentially part of a set. Even at that, I have so many items from sets that it stopped working. It's not really logical to even try to do any of that. Okay, let's look at our skills. This would be an indicator. Where were we going with this? Block chance, block chance. Because the heal spells doing about half of our health and doing more damage would be nice. But block chance would keep me alive more. Wish it would do something more than just keep me alive. So let's, I guess, go back and forth between these two and increase our block chance, increase our heal spells. So these are dream guys, or dream guys, dream waiters, which are level 17. One does electrical resistance for 13 armor, fire resistance, ice resistance, poison resistance, and plus 17 armor, which is better than these. So I'm gonna drop these out and just hold on to that for that fictional new game plus character, which at some point might become less fictional. Alright, Talon Portal spell. So it seems like our roll wasn't messed up too much, but that does mean we may be way further back in the game than I think we are. Gold wise, we look like we're in a good position. There's a Summon Skeleton 6 versus Summon Skeleton 6. Okay, we don't need to worry about that. This is a lot of gems. Right, we can go ahead and sell that. And again, looking for purple titled staffs, as if then if there was any kind of ring. This requires level 43. We've got a weird split here. We've never seen this before, where all of a sudden our level requirements are really, really high. 42, 43. Did we trigger some element here that caused that? Like, looking at our character sheet, we're at 38. That's not. It's not a system that works. Alright, so cracked and cracked. And then this is a cracked blue. So that cracked and that cracked and then that. Cracked flow ember goes here. Do we have cracked flow ember and dull flow ember and yeah, everything? Yeah. Cracked eyeballs. I don't think we have any cracked eyeballs, so we can put that away. We can transmute those to get rid of them. And let's go and make a full stack of that while we're at it. Pure embers, cracked pure ember, polished pure ember. So 23 damage or 19 armor. If I had something that I could replace to give me 19 armor, that'd be nice. Although I don't know if my armor really even matters too much, because frankly I think it might be just a case of them being so high that I wouldn't really ever get a a good chance. So, guess we didn't get any purples. That's about the only thing I can ignore. Correct core ember requires all of this. And the good news is we can sell these, and we don't really even need to sell them. We could, well, you start the game with a bunch of these anyways, so selling them actually is the right move. I was thinking for a second maybe you would hold on to those for the next new game plus, but actually that doesn't make sense. Cracked and cracked then becomes discolored, I believe, so this should turn it into a dull. Well, no. Okay, so dull, discolored, cut, star. So that was all I could do with red. There was a part I missed. So cracked and cracked becomes dull. So if I had a dull, which I don't, that's actually as far as I think I can get with those too. Interesting. Alright, so this may not be as bad as it seems. We have a cut and a cracked, which are not anywhere close. Dull and a dull. That becomes discolored. Cracked and cracked becomes dull. Right, so there was nothing more that could be done with that, actually. We desperately need a better system here with the inventory. Like, it's totally a mess. Like, I brought... I need these. I need at least another row. So doing something like this, I guess, could start us down that path. But I don't think it's really going to get us down that path, because we have a Starfire Ember here, and then cut is 16, where that's 22, where this is 9, and this is 6, and in reality there definitely is more room needed. Dull, then low ember is 12, this is 9, this is 16, which means everything needs to move down. Yeah, that's really what this boils down to, is everything does need to just move down a little bit more. 6, 4, 8, 10, 1 blue, then we have a cracked eyeball, a cut eyeball, okay, and then just skulls. There's really just not enough room. So yeah, and still the top tier, that you have a 22, 16, 16, 10, 28. Meanwhile, what can we try and enchant? We have a little bit of money. I don't think the weapon has too many enchantments, so...
You are unlucky.
So if we can just not lose any sockets.
You are unlucky.
If we could gain a third socket, that would be interesting.
You are unlucky.
Wow, I am just having the worst luck.
Anything you need.
Fortune is kind to you.
Shoot.
Extra physical damage. Right.
Good day.
Question is this worth going through a couple more?
Fortune frowns on you.
Shoot. Off with you. Good day.
You can't do anything more there. Probably could gamble for a belt at some point.
Hiya.
Just get rid of those. That's one more inventory slot
See you later.
empty. And then we were going to go ahead and just transmute all of these.
Fortune is kind to you. Fortune smiles on you. Fortune smiles on you.
It'll be interesting to see when we get back into the game, like where we are. Whether we will be collecting any more of these potions or not. Or whether we will just be getting grand mana and grand health. Quest-wise now, let's just make sure everything is good. Back to the game and we'll see where we are. This could be good, this could be bad. We could be right where we were. We were in the Black Palace for sure. Yeah, it seems like we're fine. But we were in a weird position, to say the least. That is a spell. We have Summon Zombies 5, Summon Skeleton 6. We have the potion right, we have the potion right. We have kind of nothing over here. We really have so few potions, so few spells and such that there's a lack of things that could even take up the full keyboard. Right, back to playing the game, and we just need to run around a little bit so I can remember where we are. So we were getting our butts handed to us when we were in this section before we did the whole portal stuff. I think now I'm doing a little bit better, but these guys still are gonna do some major elemental effects, and it did take a quarter of my health out when we started taking on the poison elemental there. Fire resistance seems to be good. So, we seem to be alright there. And our dog, who will just make sure it's in defensive stance, is still fine. Yeah, it looks like we came from this direction. It did occur to me that perhaps the achievement reads, get to level 50 in one dungeon, which honestly that means the main dungeon, because I couldn't imagine I couldn't imagine anybody, frankly, starting a whole new dungeon unless it was just really Alright, so this guy's heavy hitting still. I'm about half done. Alright. So spell mastery, we'll get block first and we'll do the higher thing. Clearly block is more important in it, according to the skill tree at least. Our weapon can do 688 damage at most. If we look at our inventory for a second, 682 is the most that the weapon we have right now can do. So that does mean just continue to press the defense up until we stop running into the problem we're running into, which is when we run into these named characters, which was happening quite frequently. They were doing way too much damage on me. The irony here is I'll get some new piece of equipment that'll increase my poison, and then the next floor, probably not the exact next floor, but the next couple of floors will move out of an area where that makes any sense. So we'll just play this the normal way and drag people, leash some enemies to come after me while not sending all the enemies after me. See, fighting this spider is nothing. Even in his biggest attacks, he's not doing enough damage. We're getting one hit or one click kills on some of these enemies, but I would like my damage to go up, so that probably does mean there's more work that needs to be done with that. Up. It's a little unlikely though that I'd be able to increase my damage by much more. I guess I need to keep an eye on how much damage. Like when I click that, I'm doing 544, and that shot that guy once and killed him. We were closer to the end than I would have thought we would have been. But in all honesty, I don't remember how much progress we had done on this floor before. Moving on, storyline wise, we're still trying to save Syl, which still is subjective in that. I can't be super upset that the game crashed. By the way, like 10-year-old games, it's pretty common. It seems like it was probably trying to do too many things at the same time. Looks like this is a boss, and they put the shopkeeper for the boss in the same area as the boss. Self heal all when I was at half health. Everybody else that's wandering around is on my side. Guess we only need to identify these items and then move on and sell them. Right. Okay, identify scrolls not needed. We have a 47 armor that does not increase our experience, so I can't wear it. I wouldn't come down from the 99 armor. Boots, no good. This doesn't increase my experience gain, but it is a considerably better piece of helmet. So maybe helmet should be the next place I'm gonna look for. We are back to picking up health potions of these kinds, so we haven't quite made it to that final tier. And maybe we won't ever make it to a final tier. Maybe even at the end of the game, you'll still only pick up super health potions and have to transmute them. I don't know why that would be the case, but I wouldn't put anything past the game. Let's see, what do we have here? Self-heal. We'll take this, and this, and this. You just buy these. You don't ever really pick them up at a frequency enough where it makes sense. Protective Epic Brass Ring, 108 health, dexterity bonus. That's actually really good. Plus 10 dexterity points. If I had something, like, this has a socket on it, and if I could enchant it, maybe like 10 extra dexterity points is not something to laugh at. So I'm gonna buy that ring. Meanwhile, these map scrolls, I can't imagine that anybody actually would buy those and use them all. Maybe some of them. Berserker Spike, I believe we already have, so I'm not gonna buy it a second time. And none of this equipment, I imagine, is better than one I have. So we can clear out our inventory right now. Frankly, you would need this character to show up. Yeah, those flying creatures have like 1500 health, and I'm doing 600. So we're gonna need some major improvements on my damage. It would make more sense to fight the boss and then see a shopkeeper. This floor plan looks different. It is got these spikes of electricity instead of just being dark. These lights going up from the floor, or in the previous floor, but let's go ahead and see if I can hit the button to summon some zombies to take on some of these poisoned skeletons. There's an incredible amount of people in this one small section. Clearly it's trying to overwhelm you. And if I don't click directly on a character like this, I'll walk towards it, which is exactly the opposite of what you'd want to do. The dog's not fleeing, he's just over there taking care of business. Fighting a boss for me, taking out most of its health. I think there's still a big dragon around in this area. Yep. Still a big dragon. Kelthok the Fiendish, breathes fire, extremely fast, extremely strong. Or extra fast, extra strong. You could kind of have a macabre ability in a game like this too that would disintegrate bodies and turn them into like gold. Or turn them into some kind of currency. Or maybe it even cost you something where you would have to cast a fire spell and burn bodies to get rid of them, so that you can find loot items that might be lost, like a 5% chance of finding an extra item. Yeah, there's just so much here. It's kind of impossible to tell if I got everything. It's a little surprising the dog can even attack these flying creatures. But then it would be a little unfair also if they said, oh, well, anything that's flying is just, is completely invulnerable to ground-based attackers. Which would include you, I guess, too.
Can't carry anymore.
Alright. So, the pack is full. So, really in the middle of a battle, we're gonna go through all of our inventory. I don't know if we've just fought a boss or if we just fought a big area. These floors now are just getting more and more muddled with large sections. So this would require 48 strength, but it would give me considerably more armor and ranged weapon skills. That's something to actually consider. 20 armor, but no increased experience. And we've frankly gambled on trying to get increased experience so much that I'm fairly certain you can never get it. Or it's such a low percentage that you can't get it. Or extremely unlikely to get it. We have a helmet for 25. Here we have a helmet for 37. And we need to look at our character sheet to compare. Alright, let's see. Our strength is 35. We apparently would need 48. So, yeah, that's not reasonable. This is reasonable if we could get it just to increase magic find and experience. That would be ideally what we want. It goes to show how important experience boost and magic find boosts are in this game. They trump every other setting as far as I'm concerned. Every other ability, every other thing. Because
My health is low.
I had to use a health potion, and I believe I am using the wrong health potion, so I'm going to go back to the right ones. Still running into narrow hallways, still running into large groups of enemies. That was definitely lightning damage that I just got hit with. Let's see, dog, are you gonna heal me? No, he just takes a sweet time. Did we get everything? As far as pickup items? Yeah, these big named characters are now taking half damage before I need to use a potion. That's going to become a problem. I guess the enemies are coming through these lasers, and these lasers are just for show. so we don't have to worry about that.
How dare you trespass here? I will destroy you for your insolence.
So this was the bad guy that was just standing to the side when they kidnapped Syl, and Syl seems to be trapped in that area. So this guy's, he's nothing. He's a pushover. He's dead. And that's the second boss fight like that.
I can't believe Master Ulrich has been consumed so completely. Ordrug is the cause. He has nested in the Ember for time beyond telling. The twisted creatures in this mountain are a reflection of his heart. His dark spirit runs through their veins. Master Ulrich is crafting Dark Ember. He brought me here to assist him. I would have done so eventually. I can already hear Ordrug's voice calling to me. You must destroy them, Ulrich and Ordrug both. The Dark Ember is an abomination we cannot allow.
So we spent a considerable amount of time on the main quest of, oh, you're infected with the Ember, and because of that you need to work your way down so that we can purify you effectively. What, she just ran where? There's no portal or anything over here, so she must have ran down the stairs or something else. And then she got kidnapped just a couple of floors ago, and we had time to take side missions and such, and still it seems like that just barely happened. Like, yeah, she must have run to this waypoint, and we didn't even see it because of the way the screen is. We're getting little black clouds making the area darker, which is weird. But look at that, we've gone down 2 floors in one recording, and we have like 20 more minutes. That's interesting. So perhaps the game itself has gotten a clue that we still need just a little bit more experience to upgrade. Perhaps the game has gotten a bit of a clue and said, yeah, we don't need the floors to be long. Increased gold find, increased magic find. This would be increased gold find and 1 dexterity, plus increased electrical resistance. Okay, well, I guess that's better. 1 dexterity point is not as good as 10 dexterity points. But I'm not sure we're still gonna go with that. Anyways. This is not a teleporter, it's just a light sequence. Get my hands on the right button. Anytime I take my hand off the keyboard, then my finger's not on the right number. Because I'm really just using my pointer finger. I really have no experience with playing mouse and keyboard games to the point where I'd have muscle memory on it and know. They don't put like a bump on the number row to find the home row keys or anything like that. Alright, this guy is actually hurting me.
Gain the level.
Even these big guys often are hard to keep a click on. Alright. Let's reevaluate here. More damage with ranged weapons to increase it by 3%. Or higher critical strike chances. think we still need block. I think that's where we go with this, because in the end of the day, when I'm getting hit hard, that's when my luck needs to be the highest. That's when I need a block. It doesn't really matter if some small character hits me and does barely 100 damage. I think it's not even doing that. It just matters when the Medusa characters or these poison skeletons start doing major damage. The way this is laid out is going to require me to go in circles a lot. Poison skeletons are kind of annoying because even though they're one-shot kills, there's so many of them that you're clicking a lot anyways. Just accidentally stood right where the elemental was attacking. These under areas I don't think are areas we're ever going to access. This kind of can't be another boss fight area. That would be weird. This could be something different completely. But to take out a boss and then immediately fight another boss would be very strange. Jeez, a lot of clicking to kill that one enemy. Let's keep moving. Keep picking up things. Oh. All of a sudden that works? Maybe I didn't stand on it the last time. It would be nice if there was platforms like that in all of the levels. There certainly could have been points if they were more hand-coded levels instead of randomly generated levels where a fast travel option would have been very much appreciated. Here we've got a bunch of zombies. Can I just stand in one place and kill them all? Yes. Something is recovering my health. Probably the heal as well.
My health is low.
Can I run over here? Or should I use a potion? See, we're at 300 of 1750. It's not worth it. Let's just use the healing potion and yeah, as soon as you use the healing potion, somebody else he'll self-heal you. You know, this is dumb, but I think there might be a argument to be made
A quest has been completed.
to give self-heal to the dog a second time. Like, it would be boring as all get out, certainly. But yeah, self-heal twice would reduce the cooldown, so he could cast it and just constantly cast it and just constantly cast it. So if I find a self-heal second spell, I think I'll give it to the dog, but I wouldn't buy one. That's where I'll break it down. I don't think I'll buy one of those. Just increase our default attack too. Anything dropped over here? We need to look at the dog's setup and see if by improving the rank of defensive spells, am I reducing the cooldown any at all? Because maybe if I just increased the defensive spells up to rank 10, the cooldown would be so low he'd do heal all at such a high rate it wouldn't matter anyways. Of course, that does mean the annoying sound effect would, well, in either scenario, the annoying sound effect would play a role. Alright, so this is cooldown 30 seconds. Seems like the cooldown always is 30 seconds unless maybe at the max level its cooldown significantly changes. So yeah, a heal all 5 and a heal all 5. Unless there's a heal all 6 out there somewhere. Yeah, we wouldn't use that. We wouldn't use that. I don't think we'd use that. Or that. And it's like one town portal scroll. So this is just scale plates. And that's nothing. So
Your
off with
pet
you.
has departed.
These other items are nothing too, so yeah. While he's off selling the items, we get back into the game. It is these characters that are
I'm wounded.
summoning the poison skeletons and doing poison attacks. $3,490. That was quite a lot of money. Did he just sell something like super valuable that I overlooked? Well, that's gonna be an issue, certainly. That'll be annoying if it turns out that there was some extremely valuable item. There we go. Still getting overrun by too many enemies. Okay. So this is gonna be a problem. We're gonna run close to this first section to start getting some people summoning, and that's it. We don't want the second group of people to start spawning until the area's empty. There's really not enough sections like this where you can get a level of expertise on things, though. It's really not like when I'm walking through a hallway, I see that specific hallway and go, oh, I know exactly what this is going to be and how the enemies are going to attack and how I should deal with them. I would say Diablo had that same issue of less strategy, more action going on, which, it being more of an action game, I suppose that's acceptable. Not everything has to be 100% mental. But yeah, even when I've seen speedrunners play Diablo, they really do just play on the fly more than with any kind of strategy that's bigger than what I'm doing right now. Get some enemies mad at you, aggro some enemies, and then run back for support so you don't aggro anymore. This section is actually pretty nefarious because you kind of have to walk through that area, so you will summon the enemies. There's no way to avoid them. But I don't think this game had any interest or intention of ever allowing you to do that for any section. They want you to grind everything. It does put us in a weird situation where you're really not getting rewarded for doing extra, you're getting punished for not doing everything. That's the makeup of this game. If you don't do every single little thing available, you will fall behind on the power curve when there's a power spike, which is what we were introduced to when we ran into this these styles of floors. And we're still struggling because we didn't have the right equipment to deal with.
My inventory is full.
Oh no. Back we go. Well, the good news is you can come back to these sections. Of course, bad news is you can
My pack is full.
screw up things and accidentally transport yourself several times. We have a couple of rifles here, so in theory, one of these rifles could add some experience here, because the bow is very fast. It's the fastest attack speed and does the most damage. But if I had something that did a little bit more of a scatter shot and attacked more than one enemy at a time, that would be nice. Unfortunately, most of the items we are picking up are still total garbage. We have a ring that would be 1% increased experience, which that doesn't work. Did we get everything in this area? Because this is the last time we're going through this, I hope. I imagine the poisonous skeletons, because they're summoned enemies, well, so much for that promise. Because the skeletons are poisoned enemies, I would kind of imagine, or summoned enemies, I'd kind of imagine that maybe they don't drop gold or items. Otherwise, you could potentially grind it out and have an enemy just summon skeletons always. On the other hand, I guess either they're not giving you experience, or you can just grind for experience that way. Got too many of these guys. There is an achievement for killing these Medusa characters. I don't know how you wouldn't get that achievement. So that gets into the realm of how useless are some achievements when, as long as you play the game, you will get them if you make it to the end. It did occur to me, this is an example of what went wrong in a small way with the video game industry in the 90s, though. The ever increasing demand, or perhaps not increasing demand, but more apparent demand for regular video game journalists who were writing in articles in the writing articles in magazines in the 80s, and things like that, and then when it became online journalism and there was more competition, there was just always this desire to get your article out as fast as possible, which meant a lot of video game journalists never actually beat their game. And this is a great example of a game that could get high praise as a Diablo clone if you played only 5 to 10 hours of it, and then the last 10 hours could be completely absent, and most video game journalists, when this came out, probably wouldn't have even seen it. Now, it is, I think, a little bit unfair to say magazine journalists were always that way, because if you were given a month early access to a game and they were writing it in like a, well, Nintendo Power in particular would be a great example. Yeah, there would be more of an expectation from your editor to actually finish the game. Nowadays, not so much. And that's always been the nasty little secret, is lots and lots of games get reviewed without people making it through the game all the way, or often, arguably, even to a significant point in the game. It's like we're in this big ring, it feels like now. We're back to seeing dark, spooky clouds. It's weird the way the story is telling this too, that all of these enemies are effectively corrupted and part of Uldric. That this is just a it's almost like we're inside of a body and killing the germs inside of it, instead of killing individual enemies. Several gems. I think that's probably gonna push me to going to the town. I mean, it would make sense. Let's just get a full inventory and then cast town cast the town scroll spell. Which I guess I could hit the number 8 and do that. We're about to wrap up, so if we go a little late dealing with all the inventory, then we would be in the best position. So let's see, town portal, return to town. Right, and we have some mysterious gloves. Right, level 32 Valkyrie gauntlets. Let's see. It would be a loss of experience gain. That's the thing that this doesn't have. These are nice level 16 requirement gloves. Might not be a bad idea to try and
Well, hello.
try and do something different with them. Try and enchant them, see what happens. Meanwhile, we'll sell the other things that don't make sense. need to put these in, put these away. Probably just sell those. Put that back here and put that back there.
Take care now.
Let's come over here as usual. Looking for bright purple titled weapons or something that has over 650 damage, which is not likely to happen. Let's see, is this a bright purple thing? Is that a bright purple thing? I think this is a bright purple thing. Nope. Backgrounds really don't seem like they match with anything. It's like purple, but it's red because I don't meet the requirements for it.
I got things to do.
Okay. Seems like this character has a quest for me.
Master Ulrich taught me to serve others, to protect the weak, to strike evil down. But now, the will of Ordrog has overwhelmed him. It has altered him completely. Please, put him to rest.
So we had a little bit of extra dialogue there. Self-heal. Summon skeleton 7. That's what we already have. More of these. There really is no point in which this stops making sense. Getting more map scrolls. I guess you would just, if you really wanted to play the game even more, there might be reasons to use the maps at that point. We have 527 wand.
See ya.
Right. So we have no equipment here. This armor, if I could get it to increase experience, would be better. This has major poison resistance and stuff, so I kind of need these gauntlets. I kind of need them to work. Meanwhile, guess we're getting to this point. I think 100 health potions and 40 great mana potions are more than enough for the rest of the game. Now here we have a cracked fire ember, which would then merge with another cracked fire ember, which would then merge with a dull fire ember, because that's 3, 6, and then 9. Seems like maybe it doesn't even work as well, but then I don't need the rest of those. We have a cracked deep ember, which will merge with the cracked deep ember, which I think does discolored and deep. And then, well, I think, yeah. Okay, so we have a discolored cold ember, and I don't think that works. Just cracked cold ember, dull cold ember, discolored coral ember, cracked life gem with another cracked life gem, with another cracked life gem, with another cracked life gem, to dull, to discolored, probably not to cut, cracked core ember, and core ember. I should have been doing this the whole time, actually. This would have made so much more sense. Move everything to the left as a system to know how far away things are. I think that'll go all the way up to that point. The pure ember and polished pure ember won't do anything. Dull flow ember, and then a dull flow ember, and then a discolored, and then a flow. See, flow is 12, cut flow is 16, so it might go that high. Cracked eyeball with a cracked eyeball can be merged together, but that's pretty much it. And pure ember. Right, so we need this to work. So enchant.
Fortune is kind to you.
Farewell.
Of course, having to look at everything to see what was either improved or changed
Hello there.
is difficult, to say the least.
Fortune smiles on you.
Goodbye. Good day.
Fortune is kind to you.
Let's see.
Goodbye.
Just keep
Hello
on enchanting it, I guess. One more time at least.
Fortune smiles on you.
All right.
10% chance to reflect missile damage. Interesting.
Hello there.
Yeah, I've been saying that.
Fortune.
Alright,
is
that's
kind.
as much as I'm willing to go with. That,
Shoo, off with you.
like, we cannot go any further on that. That's too crazy. So, we're gonna put that there. And then I can put 2 gems in it, and we need to get this gem out, which means we need to destroy this 4% experience gain. Oh, armor. Oh my goodness. We can't do it. We cannot get rid of the level 13 4% experience gain.
This will make a grand adventure.
Turn this over.
Greetings.
Start a new quest.
You have gained a task.
I can't get rid of this. So I'm gonna hold on to it. And then this one was the other thing we were gonna try and enchant, and
Master Ulrich.
I don't know if I have enough money that I can enchant it. Let's see, 2,000. Yeah, I don't have enough to enchant that. And then this ring, which gives major dexterity increases. I don't have enough to enchant that.
All right.
So now we're sitting on a couple of pieces of equipment that...
Hi there. Take care now.
So does this guy have something
what
that
can
he
I
can
do for
say?
you?
No, probably not.
Well, hello.
Alright.
Fortune smiles.
I don't think I need to
Fortune
probably
smiles on you.
transmute too many of these.
Fortune
So we'll just do
smiles
about 3 and be done with that. Right, where are we? Dull flow ember and dull flow ember.
Fortune
Becoming
smiles on
discolored. Becoming
you. Fortune is
flow.
kind to you.
Becoming
Fortune is kind
cut.
to you.
Which I do believe that then
Fortune
turns it into
smiles.
polished. So I could get electrical resistance of 15%, which might be very useful.
Fortune is kind to you.
Or we'll have to look at what the other options are.
Good day to you.
Let's see, bring up the dog's inventory in my inventory now. And It would be nice if there was a way to have the dog inventory visible during these events. Like, I don't know how we would accomplish that, but would be helpful. And here, and here, and here. We'll move that over that way. Still don't have enough room. I'm just hoping I put things in order enough that it makes sense.
Fortune smiles on you.
Cracked and cracked. That's deep and deep.
Fortune is kind to you.
And I feel like if I'm doing this stuff, I
Fortune is
should
kind
probably show this stuff. Like anytime I run into a game
to you. Fortune
where
is
it
kind
is very much just a lot of grinding,
Fortune is kind to you.
I don't think it's an accurate representation as a video game critic to cut this content out.
Smiles on you.
I have considered at some point perhaps re-editing content to a more abridged showing,
Is kind to you.
but what I do right now is a full playthrough, and if you're grinding a lot like this, you're going to see me grind a lot like this,
Good journey.
because that's really what the game is, and people really need to know that's how it goes. It's really easy to make a game look appealing when you cut out all of the hard work.
Hi there.
Almost done.
Fortune is kind to you. Fortune is kind to you.
Core Ember. Discolored Core Ember. Discolored Core Ember got returned
Fortune is kind
in a different place. Core Ember. And Core Ember becomes Cut Core Ember. Cut Core Ember and Cut Core Ember becomes Polished Core Ember. So weapons would be health recovery or strength attribute. So health recovery per second would be really nice. But
Good journey.
I don't think that's where we would want to go with that. Okay. Polished Core Ember at the top. We have a dull Life Ember. And we have a cut Life Ember, which is 16 versus this is 12. We have Fire Ember, 6. Okay. We have a dull Eyeball. And we have a Polished Flow Ember. And a cut Deep Ember. Alright. So we have 2 slots. 15 electrical resistance would be very helpful. Not really. My electrical resistance and my poison resistance are actually really high. If anything, I would need cold ice damage resistance. Alright, let's look at that. We have a polished pure ember. This is a high candidate. Or that really isn't. 12 health is kind of useless at this point, to be honest. Dull. Magic points we don't need. 10 health on stolen or 4 defense. That's not really that good. We want big numbers. We have strength. Increased our strength, which probably don't need. Or poison resistance at 16, or fire resistance. We, I suppose, don't need to have to do either one of them if we don't want to. But I suspect they actually want. I probably should do something more. Right. So character sheet. Armor, almost certainly. Yeah. Bumping this up and giving me plus 19 armor. Do that. Yeah. That's better armor. So plus 17 armor, plus 19 armor. Then strength. Fire resistance is fine, or it's higher than anything. Poison resistance. Also kind of fine, but not really. Like the idea that that something is doing more than 126 poison damage and that I would need to absorb more of it's kind of crazy. So what was the other thing? This kind of pointless thing? Plus 12 health? Yeah. Just sell that. That's ridiculous. Is there anything else that I'd want to consider? More armor, more ice resistance, magic, strength. Yeah. More strength when I don't really need strength. We could go plus 4 defense attribute bonus versus armor. That's probably the best that we get. But then also I wouldn't get 10 health per stolen per hit. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. We made a decision. Make an executive decision, I suppose. We'll sell that one, and then we'll hold on to that. Meanwhile, we'll drop those there, and
the finest cut gems in Ember.
sell this. Sell this. Still keeping an eye on the rings.
See you later.
How much money do I have? Not enough to
Bye-bye.
try and enchant anything or gamble with anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a new quest over here, but I don't think I could do it. This is, don't want to take much more time here, so let's go over here and think just for a brief second, is there any more wrap up that needs to be done? The only slightly concerning thing here is I got rid of the 4% experience boost, which probably don't want to do that. I probably want to keep putting on pieces of equipment that would increase the experience. On the other hand, maybe it's close to impossible to get to level 100. It seems like that's very possibly the case, because if we're at floor 32 right now and there's 50 floors, we would have had to been at level 50 by floor 25. Apparently, according to the game, we've been playing for 17 hours and 20 minutes, and it does feel like the game wants to kind of speed things up. We've got 3 quests, and yeah, that's all we really need to know. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.